Welcome everybody back to my channel. My name is Jacob Ferguson, and today we're going to be talking about Global All Stars episode 4. The Queens had to do girl groups to the song Everybody Say Love. And category on the runway is Color My World. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about Global All Stars. This season is practically one of the worst seasons of the year. As something that was touted as this, like, once in a lifetime competition, Paramount Plus isn't really putting a lot of effort into it. To the point where, the episodes are only 42 minutes long. This one was 52 minutes, and I think that kind of helped it. But my god, is there no, stakes? But then there's all the stakes because there's only one person per country. For as much as I hated UK versus the world, season 1, I'd still like that better than this because at least I know what we're going up against. With this, it just feels so rushed, but also not rushed enough. So I think people's main issue was that last week, which really wasn't one of my issues. I honestly kind of agreed with the bottom two, though I think that Kitty was the worst of the week. That Kitty Scott Claus wasn't in the bottom. That they saved her because of production reasons. But I want to say that even if she was in the bottom, she still would have won the lip sync because she knew all of the words. And sent home whoever else was supposed to send, they were supposed to send home. So because if you notice in the actual episode, when they zoom in on the girls in the background, Kitty's the only one mouthing the words to Bad Idea Right by Olivia Rodrigo. So the Queens enter the workroom, and weirdly there isn't a mirror message. I think that, it is what it is. Some queens just don't do that. But if it was cut for time, that's stupid. That needs to be re-implemented because it's a mirror message. It's the final last hurrah, and Athena should have been able to leave one. We get back into the workroom. Everybody is glad that Pythia won. They're not really too jazzed about Tessa T being in the top, but it is what it is. And it's a very short conversation, so there isn't a whole lot to talk about. In fact, all of the stuff leading up to the main challenge thing was just bad. Just very short and very, eh. RuPaul enters the workroom and says that for today's Maxi Challenge they have to get into girl groups, which I hate that they're doing the girl groups at the top 11, but what you gonna do? And that the queens have to write down the population of their country, and if the closest person to get it right will get to choose their girl groups. So it's Vanity, Queen, and Miranda who get to choose their girl groups. So Queens is Pythia and Soa de Muse. Miranda gets Alyssa, Eva, and Tessa T. And that means that Vanity gets gets Kitty Scott Claus, Nilenia, and Galavado. The queens rehearse their choreography and write down their lyrics, which is just whatever. These girl groups are kind of weird. They have to come up with a team name. We have Divibes, which is Queen, Pythia, and Soa. We have Fresh Meat, which is Miranda, Eva, Alyssa, and Tessa. And then we have the Backdoor Girls, which is Kitty, Vanity, Nilenia, and Gala. Talking about the girl groups, let's start with the vibes, right? So the vibes, I think they had the second best of the night. I honestly enjoyed what they were giving, especially with Queen and Soa. Pythia was always a beat behind, but it's like you got your white friend with you in the club. Soa and Queen were just always on beat. They always knew what they were doing. I was glad that they allowed them to do everything in their own language if they wanted to. Um, yeah, the three of them were really great, and they all get creams for their things. Though I do think that Pythia was a bit behind on the choreo, she still did quite well. Up next is Team Fresh Meat. This was the worst girl group. Alyssa's choreography was good, but it was sporadic and all over the place. I think that it would work for a team of children, like she would teach in Beyond Belief. But what it doesn't work well with is an actual cohesive choreography. Everybody was all over the place, and the verses were so short, probably just to fit in that 52-minute time slot. They kind of detracted from the entire experience. It was all over the place. I think Alyssa did the best, but Alyssa did the choreography. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that they all get crunches tonight. Especially Miranda for just not really doing that great in the choreography. Though I don't think that any of them really did that great in the choreography. I think it would go Alyssa, Tessa, Eva, and then Miranda in terms of doing choreography correctly. And finally is the Backdoor Girls. I think that they were the best and most cohesive girl group. I actually think Vanity did quite well. I think that Kitty did well. All of them are actually going to get creams because I really did enjoy everything that they were doing. Also, Gala is so hot out of drag. I'm sorry. Moving on. Let's talk about the runways. Category is Color My World. So on the runway, they had to present a couple of looks, though I think some of them did maybe like 6 looks, where they had to do a colorful reveal. Ross Matthews, Ross Matthews was the guest judge here, and honestly, it was kind of cool seeing him on a Global All-Stars stage, if only for an episode. I know they're going to do this with all of the judges from Drag Race proper, but I do feel like we're missing out on them just doing things like bringing, say, not Fred Vanderleer, we don't need him, but, you know, Supreme Deluxe, Brooklyn Heights, Brad Goreski, Anna Locking, Barbie Breakout, Lolita Vega, and even Lolita Banana or Valentina or Tyga Brava, even though I don't think that they were on the actual thing. You get what I mean. Or Drag Queen. You know, people who are constantly guest judging on other things, or even like past winners of these things, so that way they could critique their peers. Just like they're doing with Ross Matthews and all of them, I think that they need to just do people who would be on the judging panel. But obviously the queens don't really get that. So instead we get people like Matt Rogers, who a lot of people had a problem with, that he was a guest judge. Even though I like Matt Rogers fine, I do agree that it's a global All Stars stage, I kind of want to see people who actually are like really big names. And I know we're not going to get any of those people. I know that we're just going to get the mid and the plain and the Matt Rogers of the world. And I'm not calling Matt Rogers mid or plain. I'm not calling any of them mid or plain. Obviously, they have more money than I do. But it's like, at what point are we going to stray away from just having a random person who, yeah, has had some like ups and downs guest judge to an actual like good set of guest judges? I have the same problem on Drag Race proper as I do with this. It's like there'll be sometimes where they're like, "Here's random fashion girl number 6," and do you know who she is? No. And we're gonna save the big things, like the big swings, for the opening. So like, we'll have Lady Gaga and all of that. But then there have been odd choices. Like in season 12, I remember, besides Whoopi Goldberg, who was like a guest judge on like the penultimate episode, Daisy Ridley, Rey from Star Wars herself, showed up to guest judge a makeover challenge. Daisy Ridley would have been one of the most talked about people if you did a Star Wars parody or something like that and had her like guest judge, and she'd be up for it. Why are we putting her in a makeover challenge? Like, utilize the people who actually like will have this star power and can elevate the platform, and don't go, well, here's random nightclub entertainer number 6. And some of these people RuPaul has known for years and years and years. We get that. But it's like, don't bring in this person who's on a Arrowverse show, or this person who's just random fashion model. Let's bring in some really powerful entertainment. I think they had like really weird guest judges for season 16. I'm trying to remember. I know they had Charlize Theron, who I think should just judged both of them. And I'm padding the runtime here because there's not a lot to talk about. In terms of actual story here, which is how you know that I'm desperately running out of things to say. This absolutely is one of the worst things that I have to say. But Charlize Theron was the guest judge from season 16, the first episode, and I'm trying to remember if there were any other big names who were guest judging. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think, was also a big name. I think that obviously, she was a pretty big name, and I'm very glad that she was a part of it. But I'm trying to think. I don't really think so. What's his name? What's his name? He really isn't a big name, but he was the guy, Dim All the Lights. Him. He was on a episode of The Pit Stop and people got mad. What's his name? Joachim Booster. Oh, and also they had LaRoche. Okay. Well, they had some, but like I didn't know who Kira Sedgwick was, or Isaac Mizrahi, or Chelsea Ballerini, or Mayan Lopez. In fact, she doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Like, they had people who just were not necessarily like big names, and I think that we need those, especially if we're going to be in a global all-stars stage. With all of that being said, let's talk about the runways, because I think I've stalled long enough. I think that this should take us to the end here. I hate that there were so many runways this episode. Up first, Galavado. I don't know why they didn't just do it in girl groups, and I took these pictures while they were walking and all that. Honestly, I like that I'm doing this, but So she did a Frida Kahlo inspired look. It was very. I don't like saying demure anymore because not because I don't support Jules in her transition or anything, just because I'm tired of hearing it. So I mean, she looks like Frida Kahlo. She looks hot. Um, and then she changes into this pink outfit. Again, I don't really know necessarily a whole lot about Frida Kahlo, which is kind of odd considering my mom's a history teacher. But I don't think she doesn't do Frida Kahlo and all of that. She's mostly Central Europe, as well as now she's doing American history. But which, by the way, American history's kind of boring. Like, we start out at like what, the Revolutionary War, and then gotta get through the Civil War. It's a lot of stuff about us being at war with ourselves because we couldn't decide whether slavery was wrong, which it is. Anyway, and then she changes into like this. This was the look that I didn't get necessarily. I don't know how it relates to Frida Kahlo, mostly because again I don't know a whole lot about her. Um, I know that she had the unibrow, and I know she's in those iconic paintings that I see in Mexican restaurants every single time that I go. Um, I'm gonna give her a crunch for these looks. Well, the first look can be a cream. The second look's a cream. This look is a crunch. I just don't understand why she is the way she is. If anybody'd like to enlighten me nicely in the comments, that would be great. Up next is Eva Le Queen, and she's doing takes on classic Disney villains. All I could think of was Descendants when she was doing all of this. I know I'm a basic Disney Channel watcher. So I didn't end up taking a picture of her in her purple dress, but honestly, she looks good. Um, I enjoyed all three of these looks. The other one is, well, I didn't get her, I only got her back. The other one is a Cruella de Vil inspired look. Honestly, with Eva, all of these looks kind of look costumey, but I'm gonna give her a cream because I like the concept. The concept is good. Up next is Miranda Lebrau, and immediately I understand what she's giving. She's a boy, then she's a girl, and then she's non binary. The judges were like, huh? I understand immediately what she's getting because, boys like soccer balls, girls like dolls. That's how it's ingrained in our heads. And then she's like, well, actually, that's not how it's going to be at all. I do think that the concept is a bit lacking, especially since she's not going to change her wig or anything else about it. And also, the dresses just do look a bit costumey. Um, I like this look with the hair, but I do think that she needed different hair for the other two looks. It's going to be a crunch tonight. Up next is Tessa T. She dressed up as a clown. Honestly, I liked her first look, but her second look here, I'm not quite sure what this has to do with the clown aesthetic. And as for this look, I mean, it is pretty spectacular. Um, it's gonna be a cream for me, but the second one is gonna be a crunch. Up next is Alyssa Edwards. She is the Sun. Honestly, Alyssa is just killing it on these runways tonight. She looks like $1,000,000. I love her. And then she's the Moon. And then she's a star. This is very, I will say, reminiscent of her promo look almost, with the stars on it. I don't know if she just decided to add stuff to it or if it was a completely separate promo look. But I'm going to give it a cream. All three of them. She looks great. Next up is Soda Muse. I enjoyed this look. Her second look is a Valkyrie. It's also going to be a cream. Both of these are a cream. And this look right here is also a cream, though I will say it is a bit basic. I am living for the fact when I don't have to do multiples of the same person, like when it's just one consecutive runway, because god damn it, these people need to stop doing this. Get down. Hey, Marceline. She knows I can't get up. I have a sprained ankle right now. Up next is Pythia. She looks like a hot boo-boo mess here. But I do have to say, I was excited. My mom has things like the eyes of Greece sprinkled throughout her house everywhere. Because she's been to Greece, she likes to taunt that she's been to Greece already, all that. This made me so excited and so happy. Her final runway is a bit Grimes, her Snatch Game character. But, I mean, it works for what it is. I'm going to give it all a cream. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm only going to show Vanity's first look. Because she had so many of these reveals that I'm going to have to delete all of them because there's just too many. I'm going to switch to the final one because, I mean, she has like a piece of fabric. Hold on. Seashell, leave Marcy alone. Go away. She has like a piece of fabric right here that drapes down, and it's kind of cute, but I'm going to give all of her looks crunches. The reason being is that there were so many of them, and it took so long to get through on the runway, that I don't think it really made an impact. I get that she wanted to do all of the pride flags, and it did not work. It's gonna be a crunch. Up next is Queen Kong, and honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, stop. Hey, leave it alone. If I'm going to be completely honest, Queen Kong, you get a crunch tonight. I did not like any of her looks. They were a bit costumey, and honestly, I know Queen can turn out a look. So, next up is Nelania, the queen of the reveals, honestly. So, she is a weird type of fish. Hold on one second. She turns into a jellyfish. Turns into a blue tang fish. And then she turns into Nemo, or a clownfish. Honestly, all three of these looks just were good. And lastly, Kitty's got claws. I thought that she was... One second. I thought that she was going to turn into, into like a Glinda thing. She ended up not doing that. It's ended up being a lot of like dresses and stuff. I'm not going to show you the rest of her reveals because honestly, let's talk about these final two. Nelania. What I liked about it was that it was ocean themed. She gets a cream all across the board for me. One second. Honestly, across the board for me, she did very well. As for Kitty, while Kitty did great in the challenge, her runways need to be elevated. And this is my problem with Kitty across the board. In every single season that she's competed in, which has only been 2, I think, that her runways have been possibly the worst out of... Stop it, Marcy. I've already asked you to stop. Stop. Her runways have been categorically the worst across the board. tied with Vanity, really. And I don't have a problem with either one of them. It's just I do feel like they are not giving it their all on the runway. So it's going to be a crunch for me tonight. The winner of the challenge is Kitty Scott Claus. So, do I agree? I guess. Kitty is going to be one of those queens that is. Oh, Marceline, stop. That is going to be, what's the word? Favored by the judges. Honestly, I'm not bothered by it if it's done in a way that is well versed. Get down. Come on. Leave me be. Leave. Sorry. Marceline is just being a brat right now. And not the Charlie XCX kind. The apple's not rotten right to the core. Because I didn't know your mother. Get down. You abysmal cretin. What are you eating? Get that. Kittens, am I right? So far, though, I think that Kitty's treatment here has kind of been mishandled. I think that she should have been in the bottom last week, and even though I kind of agree with the win here, on a technical level, I suppose, I cannot fully endorse her win here. I think that Queen could have won, Nelania could have won, which also, in Untucked, Nelania basically says, there are a lot of people here. I can't do it in an Italian accent, so I'm gonna just do a Trump one. There are a lot of people here who don't like me, and she won't say their names, and I hate that. And I think it's because she just wants to create the drama. And I'm not bashing Nelania. I'm not, because she is still my pick to win. But she is trying to create the drama so that way, A, she'll get more airtime, but B, it'll be... That's gonna fall 1 minute. Oh! Whoa. No. Quit. You're gonna see Jesus. And I'm gonna put in a postcard to him, and he's gonna come down, and he's gonna treat you like one of the thieves on the cross. Do not get down. Go away. Anyway, Nelania starts trying to create drama. Everybody's doing, Queen is over it, so is over it, everybody's over it. And honestly, I think it was a tactic to get more airtime, as well as to be like, well, you know what? F all y'all and all of that. As for Queen, I think that she could have won this challenge, and I would have been like, good. As for Kitty, sure. I don't think that it was necessarily rigged in her favor, but I do agree that maybe she needs to step it up. As for the lip sync, it is between Miranda Lebrau and Vanity Vane. And Pythia is saved from the bottom, I think, because her runway was very good. I agree with the bottom two, if only because I agree with Vanity. Her runways were awful, and even though I enjoyed her verse, the runways were just not that great. And as for Miranda, I mean, I kind of saw the writing on the wall with her, and I don't think that there was any other choice that we could have lost this early where it would have been like, yeah, okay. I think everybody else kind of has like a little storyline, and even though I will miss Miranda with all of my heart because I know that she has a lot of story to tell. When the song starts, and the song is Spice Up Your Life by the Spice Girls, I guess we're starting to just do songs that we've done before, which is fine. It was done on UK Season 1, Something Wrong versus Crystal, the Snatch Game episode. First time a Spice Girls song has ever been used, let's reuse it. Miranda's not doing anything. She is fanning herself in the face. And I'm like, Charlie, let's go. Come on, let's move, let's work. And she's just doing that. I'm like, please, God, come on, do it well. She's not. And so she ends up getting the boot, sis. Vanity is, I guess, doing better. Neither one of them really did that great until the song starts, like, going into its, like, colors of the world, spice up your life, every boy and every girl. And both of them pop off. And then it was a close, even match. But I think at the beginning, if you can't hold the judge's attention, you're not going to get very far. So do I agree with the decision to keep Vanity over Miranda? Yes, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall immediately when they put Miranda and the Vanity in the bottom. If they had kept Miranda and put Pythia and Vanity in the bottom, I think it would have been an easy win for Vanity. Both of them would have had wins at this point, so Vanity being in the bottom with Miranda, she has an easy W and Miranda can go home. I think that that's what the producers kind of wanted, considering the fact that they weren't really going to feature Miranda that much anymore. So, right now, my top 4 are Alyssa, Queen, Kitty, and Nelania. Pythia, I think, is going to struggle a whole lot in challenges, but I hope that she picks it up. What did you guys think of the episode? Leave a comment down below. I've been Jacob Ferguson, and yeah, welcome to the Filler All Stars. Bye.